All right, the next piece of chapter 2 is talking about what we do with all of the information we collect when we're doing our social listening. There's a social media observation table that's a pretty standard table used by companies when they are listening to the social media landscape, and you can see that here on the screen, and there's also a section in your book that talks about it in chapter. The example is in chapter 15, but the topics are in chapter 2. And so those 5 standard metrics that are to be collected, the first is a sentiment analysis. And so you can see in the first column there, we have a list of all of the social media accounts for this company. And the first thing we're going to do is a sentiment analysis, which is looking at the number of positive, negative, or neutral mentions on each social platform that the company has a presence. And you can, like I said, look at the table in chapter 15 of your textbook, but it's generally measured in a percentage. So you look at the total number of posts over a time period and whether or not those posts were positive, neutral, or negative. The second metric we look at is reach. Reach is the number of people who see the message that's posted. So in terms of social reach, you're going to be looking at the number of followers, the number of fans, subscribers, the number of page views, the number of video views, whatever the metric might be for the appropriate page. The third metric you're going to look at is the company posts. And you're going to see that company, if they're posting how many times each day, it might be how many times each month, it could be how many times each week. However, the best way to present that metric is. You're also going to look at feedback on those posts. So when we talk about our feedback metric, we're really looking at feedback on what the company posts. So if the company does one Facebook post, we're going to look and see how many comments, likes, replies, engagements, reactions, whatever it might be, were on that post. And we also want to know the average response time to the feedback. So if a consumer posts a question on the Facebook page or on the social network page, we want to know how long it takes the company to respond to that customer. So those are just a few of the things that we look for. This leads us to assignment 1, and assignment 1 is posted in your module folder, and it's also in the assignments folder. You are actually going to do some social media listening for the College of Business at different universities around the country. And so you're going to see how universities are using social media to connect with their stakeholders. Now, the assignment requires that you pick 4 different social platforms to monitor. Don't worry if you have to fill in NA or not applicable or not available to some of these different observation table measures. If the university isn't responding to feedback, you might have NA in your feedback column, and you might have that for all of them, and that's okay. But the goal here is really to see how different colleges and universities are using social media networks to connect with their stakeholders, whether that be current students, alumni, other universities, different boards or companies, etc. And so when you go to do this table, the best way to do it is to set up some raw data charts. And so I actually used the J. Whitney Bunting College of Business Facebook page for this example. And you can see I looked from March 2nd to June 6th. And this is every post. So in total, they did 26 posts, and I have a description column. You don't have to do that unless you want to. I'm not going to see the raw data. The raw data is just for you. But the best way to collect it is to look at the date, a description, how many likes that post got, how many shares that post got, and how many comments that post got. And then see if there were no responses by the university to any of those comments. And so I have NA in that column. And then I built my observation table here. So the sentiment was 100% positive. There were 220 followers or fan page likes when I looked. And then you will use these to put some averages in once you have all of your data built. But that's assignment 1, and more details about that are in the assignments folder and also in this module folder. So we will come back with a little more data on how to set strategies once the listening is done and the observation is done.